Hi, this is Votan, and I'm back. Today, I would like to talk a little bit about not listening to people's expectations or their opinions too closely. At least for me personally, it has sort of become a hazard. I have a tendency to read into what people think a little bit too closely, and that tends to lead me to doing what somebody else would have me do, or listening to what they think is right, and so I adopt that as what's right for me, but it turns out it's not what's right for me. I think it's good to listen to opinions and be open to other people's viewpoints. I'm definitely advocating that. I think that creates an open dialogue. People should be free to express themselves. People should be free to have differing opinions and opinions that are not popular. But I also think that it's good to not be sucked in by somebody who's particularly persuasive, or maybe they have a good argument, or they're florid rhetoric, or any number of reasons. Just because it sounds good doesn't necessarily mean that it in fact is good for you or is relevant to you. Often I've read poor reviews on movies that I've seen, and they didn't really express something that mattered to me. Now, if I went back and I really read through the lines, the reasons that they gave for the movie, sometimes they were inaccurate, or I disagreed with them, or I did agree with them. They had valid points, but the points of criticism that they brought up didn't affect the quality of the movie, or how much I thought should be docked because of that, or I didn't think that really wasn't worth mentioning. There have been a lot of cases like that, so I pretty much got to the point where I stopped looking at reviews before watching a movie, because in some cases they were saying, oh, maybe the first half of the movie is great and the second half is bad, and so I'd be waiting for the bad second half, or some scene or whatever it is, like maybe some bad acting or a line or whatever. And there's a lot of people that like that. They like to know the end of the story. They don't really want the surprises, and that's great. But for me, I like the surprise. I want to come to a movie with a clean slate and just enjoy it for whatever it is, how it's presented to me. And listening to and reading other people's reviews and opinions on movies, just for example, movies, could be anything, tends to color the experience for me, and often I found that it doesn't apply to me, so I just sort of stopped doing that. And I've only watched one movie in like the past 9 months, which is a total record for me. Just taking things differently in my life, and so I haven't watched a movie recently. But the same thing could be applied towards music, or television program, or a book. And one particular book I want to talk about is A Course in Miracles. Now, for me, I had heard, of course I was exposed to it through Gary Renard's book, the disappearance of the universe. And so it sounded interesting, and so I started talking to other people about it and trying to figure out more information about what is A Course in Miracles. And I heard a lot of negative feedback, like, well, it's written in Shakespearean verse, and it's hard to read. Of course, I didn't really ask follow-up questions like, what do you mean Shakespearean verse? Because I automatically assumed from my years studying Shakespeare in high school, it's written in the hard language with the dosts and the thous and the thees and the archaic language that's hard to figure out, maybe the King James version of the Bible, etc. And so that was my interpretation of what Shakespearean verse meant. Well, now that I've started A Course in Miracles, it is not written in that difficult language at all. It's actually very readable, and it's fairly easy to understand, even for someone who doesn't go to like a study group, someone who just picks up the book and just starts reading it, maybe does the workbook lessons, can follow along and do it rather easily. And so I sort of kicked myself for falling into that trap again of listening to what other people said, listening to their opinions of why I shouldn't read The Course in Miracles, or I should go to another book like The Way of Mastery, or do something else, when it has turned out that A Course in Miracles has been perfect for me all along. And so I delayed cracking it until very recently. I'm very glad I did. But this just goes to show that no matter what it is, I can't let what other people say about something dictate how it affects me. In the past, I've gone to maybe retreats or certain camps or fairs, things that other people would not agree with, and people would say, well, why are you going to that? Or what's good about that? I don't recommend that. That doesn't sound very good, or they don't understand it, or whatever. And I sort of feel influenced. A lot of times I'll go anyway, but I kind of will feel guilty or bad about it, or any number of things. But as I'm growing and as I'm cultivating a stronger sense of self, which is sort of ironic because the Course in Miracles is trying to get rid of the self, but I believe that is a station on the path, is that I am finding that I don't need to listen to the opinions of others, because my path or my opinion, what's right for me, is different than the mainstream or what is right for other people. Like, I had a pretty strict diet for over a year, and people were just sort of shocked and wondering what the heck I'm doing, or that can't be healthy, or whatever their opinion was. And yet I kept with it. My sort of take is, well, I want to find out for myself. You say that, but have you tried it? You just are going off what other people are saying, or you're going off of what most people are doing. But I mean, look around. We don't live in a world that is all put together. There's a lot of backward things that we're doing, a lot of false beliefs that we have. And so mixing it up every once in a while is a good thing, I think. And rediscovering certain things that have known to be true in the past are probably still true today, and they can help. So I think the key point here is follow your instincts, follow your nose, trying to listen to your own intuition, try to figure out what feels right for you. And don't be afraid to try things just because other people say that it's not good or you shouldn't do it. Um, Watch that movie, even if everyone says it's not good. Watch it if you want to. Or the same thing with the book. If people say, "Oh, it's not worth your time," or for whatever reason, or don't go to that event, or don't have this lifestyle, or whatever. But if you feel, it's not dangerous, it's not hurting other people, you feel it's not hurting yourself, and it's beneficial, I would say go and explore it, and go for it, try it. You don't have to be, in your face to other people about it. At least that's not my style. I like to do my thing, and I don't want criticism, at least too much. I take constructive criticism, but I don't criticize other people for the way they live their lives, and sort of expect the same. So, sort of that live and let live, I guess. But just following the higher self. There's a part of us that knows more than our conscious minds, more than what our left brain logic dictates, more than what we've been taught in school and from society and from the media. So just try to figure that out. That's what I'm doing. I am learning more to rely on myself and figure things out, what's right for me, and watch the movie that I want to watch if I want to watch it, and read the book that everyone says it's too hard, and just sort of just follow the beat of my own drum, and hopefully you do the same. All right, thanks for watching.